Hello everyone, my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today I am here with alternate projects for the December Paper Pumpkin Kit. And this is the holiday version of the alternate cards featuring a wish for everything. I'm going to put up on the screen, I'll reference in the catalog what the actual bundle is called. I believe it is called A Wish for Everything. But we're going to be using that in conjunction with the cards and the embellishments from the December 2019 Paper Pumpkin Kit, which was called Something for Everything. And I really believe that that is true for this kit. So before I get into this, let me just show you what the original cards looked like. This is the way that Stampin' Up designed the kit, and super cute, very simple cards. Thank you, congratulations, and happy birthday. So basically, I copied each one of these cards. I did that in a Facebook Live, and if you're interested in seeing that video, I will go ahead and link it in the upper corner there so that you can go ahead and click that if you want to check out that video. But today we're going to be working on the alternate projects. And one thing that I am curious about, let me know, if you don't mind, let me know if you would want to see the everyday version of this kit too, with all of these sentiments, because I can do a part 2 video for the December Paper Pumpkin Kit, especially. I think because there are so many sentiments and because there are so many colors and it is so broad, that we could do multiple videos on this kit if you're interested. So leave a comment, let me know. I'm happy to do that if that is something that my subscribers or viewers would like to see. Okay, so let's talk about a few things here first. The first thing that I want to point out is the color palette that Stampin' Up had made for this kit. The December kit had featured Crushed Curry, Grapefruit Grove, Old Olive, Shaded Spruce, and Terracotta Tile. Now, when I did the video for the January Paper Pumpkin and alternate projects all right in one video, you guys loved that video. I was blown away by how well it was received. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did in the January Paper Pumpkin video with this one. This is the color palette that Stampin' Up came up with it. So this is what I tried to stay within using, but I did pull in projects from the annual catalog or from the holiday catalog, things that I had that I thought coordinated with these colors. And I always try to do that, not only as just a crafter and trying to use my product, but also to give you ideas, alternate ideas to use your products. So also in the January video, I had done all of the colors for every stamp in the kit. Okay, so this is Terracotta Tile. This is Old Olive. This is Grapefruit Grove. This is Crushed Curry. And this is Shaded Spruce. Okay, so, at first glance, when I saw the variety of the colors here, I was thinking to myself, what alternate projects would I do? But honestly, when I started thinking about green and orange, I started thinking about St. Patrick's Day. That's the first card that we're actually going to make today. So I think that these colors are actually very summery when you put them together, the yellow, the orange, the green. So I was thinking to myself, I could do summer, and then I thought, why don't I focus on the holidays? So for the holidays, let me just show you. All right, so in this case, look, just taking a quick glance at these. Okay, So the concept with at least these 3 cards is that we're using a wish for everything. There are actually 2 stamp sets as part of this bundle. Okay, so we're going to be using both, and then also the word wish dies. And the word wish dies are this: fathers, mothers, and St. Patrick's right here. So in this instance, we're going to take what would have been the card. This you would fold over, and this would become your card in the paper pumpkin kit. We're going to cut this, and we're going to use these as layering pieces today. Okay, so that was kind of the concept, and then put them on solid cardstock. And then in this instance, I did St. Patrick's, Mother's, and Father's Day, things that are coming up. Basically just pulling from my imagination the different things that I was associating with these color combinations. So we'll go ahead and we'll make the Happy St. Patrick's Day card first. But I did use a few random items to make these cards as well, which I just want to make you aware of. So for the most part, the core products are the December Paper Pumpkin Kit, cards and embellishments, and then the Wish for Everything bundle, the stamps, and the dies. Okay, so in this case, the thing that I did use that I added here that is not part of either of those items is the shaded spruce ribbon. This was from the holiday, the striped ribbon. So if you had purchased the, I think it was called Wrapped in Plaid, if you had purchased that suite, or even if you had just gotten this ribbon, this is a perfect match to the shaded spruce. Okay, the other thing that was kind of random that I used that I want to show you, and I will put a picture up on the screen of where you can find these dies in the catalog in case you're interested, because it is about that time with Valentine's Day. This die, I used this to make the shamrock. I used the hearts from this die to make the shamrock. And actually, let me correct myself. This is not a shamrock. This is a 4-leaf clover. So I know that the shamrocks have 3 leaves. The clovers have 4. So I did 4. So I used the hearts from this to do that. And you can get multiple clovers when you're making this. Now, if you have a stamp set that has a shamrock already or has 4-leaf clovers and you just want to use that, by all means, go for it. I just wanted to add that little extra bit, and this embellishment is actually from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. So the additional items that you're going to need are the Whisper White cardstock. These 2 layering pieces are actually the card from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. This is the Whisper White cardstock again, and then I used the shaded spruce on the St. Patrick's, the shaded spruce cardstock there and here for the hearts to make the clover. So this is Old Olive ink right here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll recreate this card. And then quickly, just to show you on the inside of the card, may the luck of the Irish go double for you. And we did another one right down here, and this one's a little bit larger. So super cute. The Happy, the Day, the St. Patrick's, and this sentiment are all from that Wish for Everything bundle. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our card base. This is Whisper White cardstock, the regular Whisper White cardstock. There's also a thick version. This is just the regular in 8.5 by 11. I am going to first cut it at 5.5, which is going to be the width of the card. And then I'm going to cut it to 8.5. Okay, just line it up right here, 8.5. Okay, and this is our card base, and we're going to score it at 4.25, which is half of 8.5. If you've never seen one of my videos before, this trimmer has a scoring tool and a cutting tool that I can do basically all just right here with the same tool. This is a little workhorse tool, which I love. Okay, so here's our scoring line. Okay, so I'm just going to have my card base here. All right, and now one thing that I can do is actually stamp the inside first and then set this aside. If you have a bone folder or something that you can just kind of get this to flatten, I would recommend that. I don't have my bone folder right here in front of me, but let me go ahead and, okay, so here's the stamp. May the luck of the Irish go double for you. When I stamped this card, I used all of the stamped images in Old Olive. So that's what we're going to use. Now, with the Wish for Everything stamps, and this is just me, this is personal preference, whatever you think I would go with. I like to practice because the font is so small, you barely need to touch the paper to get the impression. So it's really just like tapping it, but that one's a little bit light, so I'm going to re-ink. And that one's a little bit crooked. Okay, so I like the last one. And I mean, they're all fine, but just kind of gives me a few tries before I actually put it in the real card. And if you mess up, you could always just put a piece right over top of it. It's not a big deal. Now that's a little bit crooked, but it's okay. So I'll just close this up for now. I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to set our card base off to the side. The next thing that we're going to do is trim our card in half. Okay, so like I said, we're going to use this as layering pieces, so I'm just going to cut this right down the score line. And if you have your cardstock and you would prefer to use your cardstock over this, totally fine. Okay, so here's what we want to keep in mind for our layering pieces. This is 5.5 inches in width and 4 1/4 in length. So here with the layering pieces, you can see I did the shaded spruce as the outer layer here. Okay, so I believe that I did this one at 5, but let me just double check. Yeah, so this is 5 in width and 4 in length. So we're going to trim that down. By 4. Okay, now we have that layering piece. The next layering piece are our stripes, which is a combination of shaded spruce and Old Olive. So let's take a look here. This one is cut to, looks like 4.5 by 3.5. Okay, so 4.5 for the width. This is like a really striking image. I like this one. By 3.5. It just really stands out. So in this case, I want the stripes to be vertical. Okay, so our card is starting to come together. And then we also have our white piece. Kept this really plain So I don't, I don't know if St. Patrick's Day cards are something that you hand out regularly. I know that that's not necessarily, there's 4 inches here by 3 1/4. No, that's a lie. 3. Let me try that just one more time. 4, 3 by 4. Okay, so we're going to do a white piece in 3 by 4. So here's 4. Here's 3. All right, and then we're going to need 2 pieces of the shaded spruce, and basically I like to actually wrap a little bit of excess around the back of the paper. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just depending on how, how much or how little you like to use of the ribbon. So like I was saying, I don't know how many St. Patrick's Day cards you might necessarily give out. But I know that in some cases people do like to give them. So I like to have the option here. But even if you wanted to do this as like a decoration on a table, you could do that too. It would be so cute. So I have already cut out the die cut pieces. All right. So this is those. St. Patrick's, and then we're going to stamp the happy and day. Okay, I'm going to take this side off so that I'm not distracted. So here we go. We have day and happy. Now, one thing that you should know about these word dies is that you could actually do every word. Happy St. Patrick's Day, all in the script. Okay, so if you would want all of them to be dies, you could absolutely do that. I thought it was a little bit much when I was kind of doing the layout of the card, so I just stuck with St. Patrick's, and then for myself, did happy and day. The other thing I wanted to point out is every little piece comes out in the dies. The little dot for the I, there's a little apostrophe between the K and the S, but I could not find it, so I skipped it. But that is just something, if you are a details person, that you might want to keep in mind. Okay. Now, before I glue this down, I had a little trouble stamping happy. So, and you may be absolutely, if you're an experienced stamper, you may be absolutely solid with this and not need to worry about it. But for me, I definitely needed to practice. So before I glue these down to the paper, I want to make sure that my happy stamp is right. So same thing, we're going to do Old Olive for these. I'm going to do a couple of practice tries first. You see how the Y, and that one's crooked. That one's better. So it's like, that's perfect. So you barely need to push this down to get that look. Okay. Let's see, I messed that up. So, this is a perfect example. Let's do it like this. Good. I like that. So we'll do happy. Now this happy is a little closer to the edge than this happy. And you want to make sure you leave room for your ribbon. Does it have to be absolutely perfect? No, it's okay. I like having the space, but again, that's totally up to you. So now I'm going to grab day. Same thing, we're going to practice. Day looks good right out of the gate. Perfect. Something about that happy is throwing me off. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the fine tip glue pen. I hope that's in focus, to glue down the St. Patrick's. Okay, the fine tip glue pen has a little piece that you put right back in there. This is such a fine tip that it can clog easily. So this piece prevents it from clogging. You just slide it right back into the center and it will keep it from clogging. So I highly recommend that you put that right away. Don't leave that laying around because it will dry up quickly. Very, very fine tip, which honestly is one of the best glue products out there, I think, if you like details like I do. It really just makes all the difference in the world. So what I'm doing here, I got a little bubble. So I'm rushing, which I shouldn't be doing, but you get the idea. So I'm just trying to dab little bits of glue down here. Okay, I don't want it to ooze everywhere, all over the paper, but white, Whisper White, is more forgiving if you do get glue everywhere. Okay, so let me see if I can bring this up to the camera and show you. See the glue there on the back. All right, so we're just going to lay that down. And just tap it down gently. That's the way that I like to do it best with this glue. And it takes a minute to set. I have seen some people like put their blocks over top of it. Like if you would want to sit your block down to make sure that it sticks to the paper so that it dries properly. We're going to do the same thing with Saint. So let me see if I can get into the light here. Just dab. You barely need to squeeze this. Barely. If you are comfortable leaving a comment, let me know if you use this glue, if you like this glue. This is one of my favorite glues out there, personally. I did a haunted house project back in October, and I don't think I could have done it without this glue, to be perfectly honest with you. So that was kind of awesome. Okay. So here we go. We'll go ahead and we'll set that down. We'll give that a minute to dry. I don't know if I have my dot. I'll have to look and see. But one thing that you could do, if you would want to, can you see me trying to pick up this? This is why we need your take your pick tool. You could do a heart like that. How cute is that? Okay. So that should be good. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is put the ribbon on. And the way that I put the ribbon on is I just put a piece of tear and tape over the ribbon and then wrap it around the cardstock. So let's go ahead and do that. Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day? I used to, but I haven't for the past few years. I am Irish. I come from a pretty Irish family. Okay. I love green, and I really think that Stampin' Up! Has the most amazing colors, the different variations of green, including shaded spruce. And they have a color called Call Me Clover, which I just used on a sports project, the Super Bowl treat boxes. I'll link that video if you're interested. But Call Me Clover would be like the first thing I would think of for a St. Patrick's Day card. But with this one, when I started playing with shade and spruce, I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect for the occasion. All right, so there's the top, and then we'll run it across the bottom. Now look at me, telling you guys, don't leave your cap off, and there I am, leaving my cap off. Okay, we'll just twist that on, make sure that's on good. And we'll add the bottom piece here. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that the adhesive doesn't go off of the edge of the ribbon, because then your card might start sticking to things. Mine was right on the edge. I like to pull this pretty taut so that the ribbon stays straight. Doesn't matter if the end is cut straight because you're covering it. Okay. All right, and then we're going to do our little 4-leaf clover. Now, in the heart die that I just showed you, there are various size hearts, but you will have enough. Here's the question though, what did I do with that little heart? I only see 3. Okay, we're going to go with the next size up because I cannot find it. And that's okay. My desk is small. Just want to make sure that I have enough room here before that fully dries. I can still move it for a minute. I'm just sizing up my hearts here. The smallest hearts would have been better, but that's okay. Okay. I need my take your pick tool here. I will be honest. It's in a drawer. Oh, geez. I moved this one around a little too much, so let's re-secure that one. Let's do the top. Always cut extras when you're recording. That is what should be the rule anyway. Okay, and I'm going to use one of these little rhinestones right in the center. This came with the December Paper Pumpkin kit. You know what else would be cute? If you dotted the eye with a rhinestone. Let's do that. Just if you want a little more bling. And that way you can kind of see the difference, right? So here's the dot from the cardstock. This is a smaller clover. This is a bigger clover, and then that's with the rhinestone. So just a few variations, but you get the point. Okay, so now we're just going to assemble our layering pieces, and it's pretty simple from here on out. I'm just going to build it from the base up. If I had snail, I would be using that, but I do not, so we're going to use our tear and tape. Tear and tape is wonderful because everything stays put. Snail adhesive will keep it put too, but I feel like I use a little bit more of the snail, which is why I'm always out of it. And I know that some people actually like to use the all-purpose glue. I'll have to try that more. I don't know if that's something that you do for the base of your cards. Some people really love it. I've seen several demonstrators using that, but I have not done that. Okay, so here's our shaded spruce layer. Here is our striped layer. Okay, and then we're just going to finish it off with our sentiment layer. Okay, so normally I would stop at 2 strips, but because I have the ribbon here, I am just going to put a little extra reinforcement on the ribbon. Just like that. The main thing is I just don't want it to come loose for whoever the recipient of this card will be. I have one of my friends in mind that would be great for this card. We used to celebrate St. Patrick's Day every year together, but we haven't done that in years and years and years. Okay. There we go. So here is our St. Patrick's card, and let's go ahead and make our Father's Day card. For our Father's Day card, the dimensions are pretty much the same. Every card base is cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and then scored at 4 1/4. We're going to use black, basic black cardstock for the card base for this particular card. Okay, so 5.5. By 8.5. We're going to score it at 4 1/4. And just be sure, if you're using the trimmer like me, that you get the, I'm sorry, I'm out of shot, that you get the cutter piece out of the way and use the scoring tool, which is the lighter gray. Okay, so we have our score line right here. I'm just going to score this and set this aside. We'll do the inside later. This is going to be the piece that we're going to use for the Father's Day card, so we'll just set that right off to the side. These are the embellishments from the kit. This is the card that we would have used in the December paper pumpkin kit, but we're going to actually use this as layering pieces. This is the crushed curry. I've had bees on my mind, you guys. You know I was going to come back to the Golden Honey Specialty DSP Designer Series paper, which is free with a qualifying purchase during Sale-a-Bration. I don't think that I've mentioned Sale-a-Bration yet, so let me talk about that for a minute while I'm cutting up these layering pieces. But let me also get back to the Father's Day card here for a moment so that we have a reference. Okay, so here's what we're working with. All right, and then this is a very simple card, very clean, clean edges, clean cuts everywhere. but we'll go ahead and we'll talk about our layering piece sizes really quickly, and then we'll talk a little bit about Sale-a-Bration. So this one is cut to 5 inches by 4. So like I was saying, it's pretty close. And then this layer is 3.5 by, looks like 4.25. Okay, so we'll start with those two. So this is 5 by 4. By 4. Okay. There's one layering piece. We'll just go ahead and add our layering pieces to the card right here. And then this one was it 3.5, I think? 3.5 by 4.25. So by 4.25. All right, and then our black cardstock piece is going to be 4 inches by 3.25. Okay, so we're going to do 4 inches by 3.25. Okay, and then we have our layering piece, which is actually a sticker. The, what is that? Is that a hexagon? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, hexagon. Okay, and then the B strip here, there are 2 of them. There's a strip here, and then there's a strip in the back here. This one is just under 1 inch, and then that one was actually a full inch, and then just by the layering piece size. So this one back here is 1 inch by 5 inches, and then this one is just slightly under 1 inch by 4 inches. Okay, so let me get those. And I like to have the bee image sticking out if I can manage it. So I see a little bee in the corner here. Let's take a look. Okay, for the one layering piece, and then we'll do the second layering piece. Let's do 3/4 of an inch. That might be too much. We'll go here. Let's try this one. Let's see how this looks. And then I said by 4 inches, I believe, right? So let's see. All right, we'll see how that looks. I might need to recut that piece, but for now, I think that's going to be okay. All right, so let's work on stamping and assembling. So okay, we're going to assemble our card, and we're going to stamp our Happy Father's Day. Now this one makes me nervous because I do have an extra kit. I do have an extra kit, and I could always cut paper to this size, but I definitely don't want to mess up my stamps on this because there are not a lot of these to go around. So we will practice again. I'm just going to clean these really quick with my chamois, my Simply chamois. And then let's talk for a second about Sale-a-Bration. So Sale-a-Bration is going on through March 31st. The concept behind Sale-a-Bration, which is something I believe Stampin' Up! Does every year, but I am a new demonstrator, meaning I've been a demonstrator for just under a year. So Sale-a-Bration is if you spend $50 before tax on any Stampin' Up! Products or qualifying Stampin' Up! Products, you could get free items from the Sale-a-Bration brochure during Sale-a-Bration. So I will continue to mention that. They also have an amazing deal. It's the best discount deal in the catalog. If you would be interested in purchasing a starter kit, you can get $125 worth of product for $99. And you could also, let me see, I'm just grabbing my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. You also get to choose a stamp set of your choice. You get a mini paper trimmer, and you also get a sampler pack of designer series paper from the mini catalog, all as part of the starter kit. I believe you also receive a free paper pumpkin kit in your starter kit, and you could also receive free business supplies if you are interested in that aspect of it, but you do not have to be. It would just be like being, let me see. I'm not loving how any of these are turning out. So let me see here. It would be one of those things where if you did want to join or if you did want to purchase the starter kit, you would get 20% off of your products as long as you are active. You would also have first access to catalogs and products. You would get to see it before it would actually be released. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you are bargain shopping or if you're loving everything that you see and you want to get a combination. Okay, that one looks good. All right, let's try this. No way, no how. Okay, so there is a solution to this. I am going to grab rather than have to recut this piece, I'm just going to color it with my Stampin' Blend in the basic black color. So hang on just one second. All right. So cut yourself extra pieces if you're making more than one card. I obviously forgot. So my solution is I'm just going to color it real quick rather than having to recut it in the basic black cardstock. But no big deal if you did want to cut it. So here's an idea. So if you don't have a particular color and you want to customize your color, just cut it out in Whisper White and then make it whatever color you want with your markers. Let me see how this looks. It looks pretty solid. That looks pretty good. I can see just a little bit with this, with the A. Let's try that. Better. Great. Okay. You could color the back too if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. All right. So where was I? Oh, I was stamping. So let's go ahead and stamp. And we were talking about Sale-a-Bration. So the whole point of my talking to you about Sale-a-Bration is that this Golden Honey Designer Series paper that I keep using in multiple videos is free. That's one of the free items that you could get if you spent the $50. So just to let you know, one of the things that would actually qualify, it's a little on the light side, but we're just gonna roll with it, is the Wish for Everything bundle. That would qualify you for a free Sale-a-Bration item. So the concept would be you would buy the Wish for Everything bundle, and then you could go ahead and choose the Designer Series paper, the Golden Honey Designer Series paper, as your free Sale-a-Bration item. and then it goes on and on and on. It's for every 50. So if you spend 100, you can get 2 products or 1 product, depending on what you choose in the brochure. You spend 150, 200, you could get 3 products, 4 products, and it goes on and on, as long as it's an item from the Sale-a-Bration brochure. So definitely something to keep in mind. And let me go ahead and stamp day. This is looking okay. I didn't really get that one perfect, you guys, but it's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. The dads know. They know that we love them and that we're making cool cards for them, right? Okay. I'm just going to, same thing, dot my glue right on. Make sure my tip is clear. I don't want it to be super gooey, but I do want to make sure that I get it on every letter because I don't want it to pop up off of the card. I definitely want it to set. Okay, that looks pretty good. I love the angle. I love having it at the angle. And again, if you can find the apostrophe when you are die cutting, you could add it right here. And of course, you could always draw it in too. Okay. I think that's it for the fine tip glue, at least for this card. I don't think the Mother's Day card has that fine tip in it. We'll check in a minute. So now we're going to assemble our card. And then we'll stamp the inside of the card. So in our original card, we have the real heroes of the world are fathers like you. Happy Father's Day. Okay, so we're going to do that same thing. I'm going to cut a piece of Whisper White for the inside of the card. We'll do probably 4 by 5. Sometimes when I'm cutting, I lose my train of thought with whether I'm doing portrait or landscape. paper pumpkin kit, you could take your little bee stamp and you can just stamp your little bee. If you happen to get the bee stamp in the mini catalog or the mini bundle that has the bees in it that match this paper, then you could do that. Or if you only have the paper, go ahead and cut a little bee out of the paper and add it right to the inside of your card. Okay, so the last card, the Mother's Day card, was the trickiest card. And let me just, I will probably be fast forwarding, you know, the Father's Day card assembly and the Mother's Day card assembly, because it's basically the same thing, just different variations, where you have the stamped happy and day, the mother sentiment in the middle, and then we just switch up our embellishments. So it's this card base right here. I'm just going to walk you through this. So the added extra in this particular card is the oval. Okay, so this oval is actually from the Heirloom frame, I think dies and embossing folders is what it's called. That is an annual catalog product. You have two options with this. You can either have an oval or a rectangle. Now, you don't need to have this at all. You could just do the same exact type of layer that we did with St. Patrick's. Okay, doesn't have to be this. I just like variety. I like to give options. So here's the rectangle, here is the oval, and then this one is embossed, this one is not. Okay, so just depending on how you want to do this, if you would want to stamp your little flowers, there's a stamp that comes in the December paper pumpkin kit that has this little trio of flowers. You could stamp those. Or if you would want to add these little sticker flowers and leaves, you could do that. You can see how I added them here. Wanted it to be floral. I was basically running with the floral pattern that they have here. When I'm looking at the floral pattern like this, they let the floral pattern be the star of the show when they designed their card to put together, which was really simple. But for me, I thought it was very busy. So not that this isn't busy, but I wanted to show more of the sentiment, the Happy Mother's Day, than I wanted to show of the pattern in this particular case, because the other card was pretty much all pattern. So this one is kind of changing it up a little bit. So it's very floral. We have the gold, all of this, the rhinestones, the gold leaves, the flowers, this and the layering pieces are from the December paper pumpkin kit, with the exception of the little strip of the Grapefruit Grove. You can see I cut out mothers with the Grapefruit Grove cardstock, which is coordinating, and then I also cut a layering strip here. Then this is actually stamped in terracotta tile, and then on the inside of the card it says, "First my mother, forever my friend." And again, that is all from the same stamp set, the Wish for Everything. So here is Happy and Day. Here is First my mother, forever my friend. The real heroes of the world are fathers like you. May the luck of the Irish go double for you. And of course, if you don't want to cut out any dies in this particular situation, you have all of the sentiments right here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so there's quite a lot going on here. This is such a versatile set, and I think that more so than any other set in the annual catalog, this would be such a workhorse with all of your paper pumpkin kits. If you are a dedicated subscriber, if you love the kits, if you have past kits, future kits, if you have extra kits, this is something that is going to take all of your kits the extra mile, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this card. Okay, so here we are. Here are our December alternate paper pumpkin projects using a Wish for Everything bundle. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like. If you like to see videos like this, please leave a comment if you would like to see another alternate project using the December kit for all of the sentiments that actually came inside the kit. There are 13 stamps, I believe, that are for everyday, all occasions. Share if you're comfortable sharing it, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos like this. Thank you so much.